I don't know how we got here, but there are dinosaurs everywhere. So we gotta look this truck over quick. I'm really hoping it's got extravagant capabilities to get us out of this place. Scoping the land, I'm gonna say the terrain doesn't look friendly. This is gonna be an adventure, and I'm hoping not to become lunch. Now that is packaging. Also, a quick note that there have definitely been some complaints on Rlaarlo's customer service, and they have publicized that they are working on that. So hopefully they've learned from the feedback they've received. Manual looks pretty thorough with all your parts and exploded diagrams and an 8-channel controller. That is heavy. First things first, stickers. I love the little Viking bro that says, "Out my way." Now, I don't own another 1/7 scale to compare this to, but here it is next to a 1/10 scale FCX10, so I would say that 1/7 is probably pretty accurate. We just reviewed this thing not long ago at all, and it was awesome. But I'm gonna say that this thing easily weighs almost 3 times what that weighs. I'm about to show you why. It is built like a tank. Hopefully, it acts like one too, because we're... Gotta be quiet, because we're gonna need it. Yeah, you see all that metal under there, dude? And listen to that. That's chunky. There are brass weights behind the wheels. These are sold separately, but they kind of look like brake rotors. Looks like it's a hinged back, and we've got clips. Big clips. And they're not in the easiest location to reach. The motor's huge. The way this leans back, it actually puts a lot of pressure on the body. There's a lot of plastic bracing there, but it just looks like it would eventually warp or break or crack. I'm gonna put a box underneath it. Super nice looking aluminum or some sort of metal frame rail. Power button won't be easy to reach with the body down. Then you got a servo, and a servo to control the locking of the front and rear differentials, which you can lock separately. It's also a 2-speed transmission controlled by a servo. I don't know if it's that one or not. And there's another servo to make it front-wheel drive only, or 4-wheel, rear wheel. A massive brushed motor. This is a 5270, I think is the size. And that obviously adds a lot of weight to it, and it's pushed all the way up front, which should really help with its climbing capability. There is a brushless version of this available as well. Obviously, I'm gonna link this truck in the description so that you can read about it and see which version would be right for you. XT60 connector for the battery. These are pretty long travel shocks. They don't really feel like they're oil filled, but they do feel realistic, which will look really cool going over rough and bumpy terrain. It's a metal cased steering servo, metal bodied shocks with what looks like 5 or 6 millimeter shock shafts, full size battery tray, plastic towing shackles in the front. It looks like you could adjust these shocks in many different minute configurations. Raise the ride height a little bit, change the caster angle. Got a big heavy gauge rock guard right there in the front. Rock guards are skid plates over both differentials and over the transmission. And you guessed it, that set is sold separately as well. It does incorporate a slipper clutch in the event that the tires may get stuck on something, help prevent driveline damage. 8 millimeter suspension links. You got a 3-link suspension in the front along with a track bar, 4-link in the rear. The differential housing and axle assemblies are plastic, but they're really thick. Portal axles, metal telescoping drive shafts. They do spin in the opposite direction to help prevent torque twist. There is not a servo saver on there. Actually, there is, and we'll go over that once we're out of harm's way. The tires are foam filled. They feel really good. They have a soft, grippy compound. We've got real mirrors, a snorkel for the underwater excursions, a roof rack to keep your stuff on, extra gas cans, and the controller will either take 4 AA batteries, a LiPo, or those 1850s that I'm pretty sure you can't even find in the stores in the US. So we're going with AA's. Only thing left to check out is the lights. There are quite a few different settings, and it looks awesome in the dark. Then we got strobe action, rainbow, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, cherries, and berries. Ooh, that sounded like a T-Rex. That sounds like he's far away. All right, I don't hear any movement. This might be our time to go.
Please find alternate route.
Oh no. No, 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 no! Oh! Holy, we gotta get out of here! Holy! Oh! That took care of that one. Oh hey, a pterodactyl. I think they're friendly. Oh, nope, they're not.
Wrong way. Please stop being a moron.
Oh, there's that T-Rex. And he's after us. Oh! I guess he's still hungry. Come on! Oh, come on, are you getting tired yet? Guess not. Right where I want you. All right, let's get out of here. Oh, I heard that crunch. I think over that mountain's our way out. Whoa. Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you what I had to do for them to let me go. Holy moly, this thing is awesome. This was able to go over everything except like a 60-degree incline that's just loose dirt. Incredible performance. The tires are awesome. The locking diffs are awesome. Portal axles, I mean, it's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but that's 4 fingers. And as excited as I am about the Jeep, I'm happy to just be alive. I didn't have any mud on the windshield because the wipers... Oh, and yes, A few things did break. I'm going to tell you about those, obviously. All of the suspension linkage looks perfectly fine, even though they have a lot of pretty heavy scrapes on them from all the concrete and rocks. Same with the drive shafts, looking good. No issues out of the electronics. We didn't have any overheating problems. Zero complaints on the battery life of that 5,000 milliamp. Again, sold separately. So yeah, durability gets a big check mark, but there are still a couple things I'm going to show you. See, spring. I definitely like the way the shocks feel. They go over the terrain really nicely, realistic looking, helps keep the wheels planted while still allowing for the suspension to flex really nicely. Powered through all that overgrown grass and foliage and plants and stuff. Evaded the dinosaurs no problem. Cliff dived like 6 times. Even the body is in good condition, minus some scratches. There are no breaks or tears except from where all that pressure from this hinge system sits. I mean, that's not what broke it. It broke from jumping off a cliff a bunch of times. But that's still a weak point. I so dislike that. It needs some sort of prop rod, which I'll probably do. The shocks, I said they didn't feel like they're oil filled, but they are. At least somewhat, because all 4 of them are leaking. That's what all these stains right here are from. This was, extreme testing, so it's still hard to place blame on the truck itself, but all 4 of them. So I don't know. It's not as big a deal on something like this as it would be a basher that you're jumping off ramps, but it is still something to be aware of. And the last thing that broke is this. I mentioned earlier that there is actually a servo saver, and it is in the style of this steering damper right here. You have a spring on both sides of this piston, and as there's pressure on the steering system, the damper is able to do its work. However, the link that goes on the servo horn right there is plastic, and again, with all that cliff diving, it pulled those plastic threads out. And once it happened once, it was able to happen much easier several more times. Luckily, I was able to find this spring every single time, but hopefully those end links at least will be an upgrade available. Even if they don't offer an upgrade for this, there are other ways that can be fixed. So it's not a huge deal, but again, something to be aware of. Oh, and there is one other thing I want to tell you about, because the steering kind of underperforms at first, and I fixed it. I'll show you how to do that. And I think that most people agree. Some people have had issues, but Rlaarlo is making really great cars. And I know there are people that don't really like the way that Rlaarlo markets their product, showing them before you're even able to buy, and they have reduced the amount of time with this one. They're supposed to start taking orders on May 15th. Now, I do believe that they are doing a discounted price when this is first released. And that kind of upset some people with their last release too, because it stayed that price for quite a while. Now, I don't believe there's solid evidence on price yet, but this one, the discounted price, seems like it's going to be pretty significant. This Dinosaur version is going to cost more than the other colors, between like $500 and $550 when it's first released, and once that launch sale is over, I believe it's going to be $700 to $750. Now that's expensive, but when you consider an SCX6, which is slightly bigger but does not have portal axles, is north of $1,000. Now you're going to have to wait longer for parts to get shipped and all that stuff, so there's a lot of things to weigh in on your decision. But going against the competition that's out there, like I just mentioned, it's probably a pretty decent deal. And with that said, like I mentioned earlier, there have also been complaints with customer service. Now you'll hear that with almost any company, but I don't know the ins and outs and details of those complaints. Rlaarlo has a 90-day defect warranty, and due to the possible distance between you and China, the shipping time will be longer. What I can tell you is they are definitely trying and working hard to build products that are good. So if you want to buy one of these and you'd like to support us in the probably 40 hours we spent on this video, please use the links down in the description. Can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you guys. Oh yeah, and don't forget about the custom wide granite with a center differential that I built that you can enter to win for $1 and change. I will link that in the description as well. Now the steering issue. When we first opened this up, it did not turn very far in either direction. Still drivable, but just a really large turning radius. Now I found the settings in here to fix it. Just know that it is possible that turning this up contributed to the servo saver busting. Press the scroll wheel, scroll down 1, press it again, scroll down 1 to range, press it again. With channel 1 highlighted, just press the scroll button again, and you can change that setting. It was set at 70%, and I changed it to 90% left and right. The power button is the back button.